You know when you get like that gut feeling inside of you that something is wrong and this person is like you or whatever the case is, that pit in your stomach that you get that you're like, crap, something bad's about to happen. I had that. This is why I can't do nothing aesthetic, because what? She's growing so big. When I first got her, she was so small. This is Allie, the aloe vera plant. Look at her, she's sprouting. Okay, you can't be in the shower. Let's do it. We're just gonna do it. Just rip off the band-aid and just do it. Today's topic is it's real deep. It's a deep conversation because I feel like there are certain aspects of life that we tend to stray away from, not talk about. A lot of nerves that come with it because I feel like I'm finally speaking my truth on certain topics and things that used to affect me. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dee Dee. Misfit to Fit here, okay? We're doing something a little different. We are doing a sit down chat with me, and today's topic is turning your pain into passion. For those of you guys who don't know, I am a personal trainer, certified personal trainer. I have not always been certified. I just recently got certified in October of 2022. 4 or 5 years before that, just like dabbling, getting my feet wet in, the whole fitness industry and stuff like that. I started with my own personal journey first. I was sharing it on social media. I was the whole MLL movement with Beachbody. So not to say like, anything bad about MLM. I just feel like me at the time going through that showed me the direction in which I really wanted to take my business and my coaching. I started Misfit to Fit Fitness, which is just me coaching women to be confident in following a fitness program, confident in themselves, and confident to be able to live their lives. I got my notes here. Believe it or not, y'all, I've been preparing to do this video for the last 6 months. Okay? I'm a chicken. When it comes to speaking my truth, when it comes to speaking up, I am a chicken. If you ever want what I'm going through to be, one, something that I need pity for. Two, I don't want it to get taken out of the wrong way. I don't want it to come off as if I'm a bitter Black woman, which I'm not. Also, I just want the message to be received, and I want to be able to help somebody through something similar that, they are probably going through. I have been having a hard time with my dad's passing, which was unexpected. To do this video, he was alive. He was actually part of the topic that I'm talking about, which is healing. So yeah, we're gonna let the emotions flow. So one thing I do want to recommend is if you are somebody who has been looking for a therapist or have been looking to get into therapy, two really good resources that I looked at before going with my therapist was BetterHelp.com. Basically a search engine where you can, put in your location, put in what you're looking for, and it'll pop up, the therapists in your area or that are within your network. Or therapyforblackgirls.com. That is where I found my therapist, which is also a search engine that choose that you want to work with a person of color. I will highly, highly, highly recommend if you are somebody who is struggling with a relationship or anything for that matter, mental health issues, grief issues, childhood trauma, substance abuse, anything like that. If you are looking for a therapist, BetterHelp or Therapy for Black Girls. I have recovered from people pleasing. I have recovered and being in a space where I'm able to just be free to be myself without judgment, without hate, without any alternative motives from anybody. The people I surround myself with now are people that I have either one, grew up with, or two, have seen me grow through a lot of different things and they never left. So I'm going to be talking about that and as well as dealing with friendship breakups, because believe it or not, it's a hot topic right now. I have been through my fair share of friendship breakups. I guess a little backstory about me and even talking about this and why I'm even, sharing this part of my life. I am somebody who I care deeply about the people that I love, and to the point where I would hurt myself. I would emotionally hurt myself so then I would not have to hurt them. That's how much I loved the people and my friends around me. So we'll go back to about 7-year-old Dee Dee. I had my first friendship, which was our next door neighbor, and we played together every single day. Like I'm saying, every day. And she was a Hispanic girl. I honestly would have did anything for her. I did do everything for her and with her. I went wherever she wanted me to go. I ain't got a problem. I'm not trying to fight no friend over no game, okay? I'm 7 years old. What am I fighting her for? And it didn't register to me that the friendship was getting bad when she would be a little bit more aggressive towards me. You guys know 7-year-olds are very bossy. And we were all outside playing. It was me, my sister, and my sister's a neighbor friend. And I had went inside real quickly. I don't remember what I was doing, but I went inside and then I came back out because my mom told me to tell my sisters that it was almost time to go. Long story short, she got upset with me and homegirl punched me in the stomach. First time that any friend put their hands on me, and I was just like, what the heck? Okay, so fast forward to middle school. We moved from out of that neighborhood. We were in Rogers at the time, and I had met this girl who we are still best friends to this day. I actually claim her as my sister because she literally grew up with me, but it was like instant connection. Like we were talking, we're from the same background, our families are both African. This was my elementary school best friend, and we met this group of girls and we started hanging out. This girl, she was a little bit more aggressive towards us as friends. And the thing about my sister friend, she was very bold and unapologetic of how she wanted people to treat her and how she took any BS. And I was like, man, I'll strive to be like that girl. I want to be like that girl so bad. I had to move again. This specific big move was like permanent. We had moved to a town called Savage, and I went to Prior Lake High School, and it was a culture shock for sure. Predominantly white high school. I don't think I started making friends there until the end of my 9th grade year, going into 10th grade. I was one of those people where I be in a group of white kids, Asian kids, black kids, and feel comfortable. I always had an issue when I was with the black kids. They thought that I was trying to be something that I was not. Oh, you sound like a white girl, or why your voice like that, or why do you enunciate? There was a situation that had happened. I was dating this guy at the time and did not know that he was interested in my friend, or if long story short, him and I were together and did some stuff. Friends with did not confront me about it at the time. She just, if you guys want more detail, but it was just a bad situation. So anyway, to like stop being friends with her, I wanted to confront her, but for the life of me, when I was looking for her to talk to her, she was nowhere around. So okay, fine, can't find you, whatever. Fast forward now into adult friendship where things started to seem normal and okay. Had befriended somebody who, this was an Asian person. Again, like I said, I've never had issues being friends with people of different races. I was not one of those friends who like was overly black power and like Black Lives Matter in your face. I'm just one of those people who I'm comfortable in any group that I'm in until I am shown otherwise. I felt free enough to be myself. And I think where it got complicated was I do not speak up. When something is going wrong, I don't speak up at all and speak my truth about anything, which is why it's taken me so long to do this video. I was pregnant with my daughter, and for some reason, the situations that we were going through at my current church, it just did not feel right to me. And so I began to confide in her, and she kind of took me under her wing, and I was like, you know what, yes, this is my girl. Like anybody who could get out of themselves to want to protect, I guess, or, you know, befriend somebody who is going through a hard time, I have a soft spot for it. I will say that I am not one of those people who have walls up real quickly until something happens to me. I know how to treat people. I know how to talk to people. So that's what I'm going to do with you. And I'm expecting the same thing back. There were some things that I chose to ignore and bypass because I was just like, oh, well, no, I don't need to worry about that. You know, they were anti-best friend title. Like, and I'm one of those people who, if me and you are kicking it, we're close, we're friends, and we hang out a lot, eventually I'm gonna start calling you my best friend, because I'm not gonna just share things with you willy-nilly. Like, you're my best friend, so I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to open up about some things in my life that I am trusting you with, when I didn't realize it. But a lot of our friendship was me opening up and sharing, and basically, you know, putting my stuff out there, it not being reciprocated as like a red flag or anything like that. I just took that as, oh, maybe she's not ready yet. There was a situation that we had. I had made a comment. It was a joke in retrospect, but when it was joked to me, it just wasn't the same joked back to her. So I didn't make the joke no more. I can just remember her saying like, well, if this is how I am, why do you want to be my friend? And I was like, first of all, I don't just throw people away like that. I rarely throw in the towel when it comes to friendships. Like, I will fight to the end of me to try and make the friendship work. If it's something I got to change in me first, I will do that. If there's something wrong that you're doing, I won't say anything. And that's where my downfall was. I didn't say anything. That was my hill to sit on, because I know you can't handle when I say you wrong. It's a lot of negativity that was coming from that end of the friendship. You know, talks like, you can't do this, you're not good at that. There was never really any like real, I guess, support. I didn't see that as a red flag in the friendship, because I was just like, well, she knows me. Why would she say I can't do this? Started building up, started piling up, and of the friendship required me to tone down who I was. Of course, I'm Black, like I said, she's Asian. It was really hard because I felt like I had to either hush my Blackness or be overly Black to compensate, to match where she felt like she was, I want to say acting Black, but I'm just gonna be honest, she's just more Black than me. I would do something, it would be like, oh, don't do that, it's ghetto, whatever, blah blah blah, but then she would do it and it'd be okay. So I was just like double standard. So at times I felt myself only shining like me whenever she felt like she was shining, giving myself my time, my energy, and none being reciprocated or given back. Not to the same extent. It wasn't the same capacity at all. And that is where I started to feel a little drained. Things took a turn for the left was in 2020. And they always say 2020 is for clear vision. So things start to come out in 2020. I think I had gotten to my point of not being a punching bag anymore, and not being, you know, told I can't do something. Had double committed myself, which this was always an issue. Didn't even realize it, and I spoke way too soon. And I was guilted into helping her out with something. And like, I literally would jump when this friend texts me, because again, this is my best friend, and I'm like, why wouldn't I? Like, what else would you require me to do? You want me to spend the night on Thanksgiving Eve, even though I gotta go to be in my mom's house? I'll do that for you. You want me to watch your kids for you until you can find somebody permanent? I'll do that for you too, girl, with my 2 babies in tow. It was a lot of me giving myself, and when I overcommitted myself to helping her out to something, and then when I realized that I had overcommitted myself, and I was scared at first, that gut feeling inside of you that something is wrong and this person is like not happy with you. Whatever the case is, that pit in your stomach that you get, that you're like, crap, something bad's about to happen. I had that when I told her I couldn't do it anymore. And that's when things went left. I'm not really there. And as I'm reading the text messages, I'm just sitting there like, This is not true. It's not true at all, because I know for a fact I have done so much in this friendship. Maybe not, I'm not like one of those monetary friends, and I am praying one day that I can get to that point. And I feel like in that friendship, it was a lot of her compensating in that way because, or I wasn't able to. There was a lot of me, you know, just doing things emotionally and physically and being there present for her. So when she was just kind of like chewing me out in via text message, I was just like, no, this is it. Today's the last day. It's not fair for you to put this type of pressure on me because I can't do something today. Opened up a whole new can of worms. She was like, you know what? We need to take a break from this friendship. Mind you, this is the first time I've ever had a friend tell me they needed to take a break from me. And I was just like, okay. And I really, like, inside of me, I was just like, what am I doing wrong? Da, 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 da. It was like a 5-second pause. And I was like, you know what? I agree. If you need some space, I will give you space gladly. At my wits end with being verbally talked to negatively, not really acknowledged or cared for in any sense. My business, my fitness journey, even my marriage, like there was so many things that needed correcting. I was just like, you know, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I didn't realize me saying, take all the time you need, was actually God letting me know, like, hey, the time for this is done. There's a lot of incidents that happened. Surprisingly journaled a lot during that friendship. I journaled basically every situation that ever happened. You know, it's a lot of conflicts because that was my way of talking. I couldn't talk outright to my friend and tell her, hey, this, what you're doing is hurting me and I don't like it, because I didn't want to lose that friendship. I didn't a lot of abandonment issues because of my family dynamic. I was raised by my mom and my stepdad, which I loved him to death. I still love him. But there were a lot of, you know, unhealed things in his life that transpired into our family. Fortunately, I got a lot of the butt end of it because I, for some reason, spoke up when it was him, but when it's anybody else, I'm just hushed because I'm like, I can't afford to lose anybody else, but I know he's not going anywhere, so I know he will listen to me, which brings me into my next topic of, you know, my healing journey. Is like, with our family was very loving, it was fun, but there were a lot of things that we did not deal with as family, and that, you know, went into our relationship and our dynamic and how we communicated. Some months went by and there were some little things that kept happening. It was actually big things. I don't want to minimize it, but it was a lot of big things that happened that just kind of really opened my eyes to this friendship, the type of person that I was dealing with. And I didn't realize it, but as I was going back into the 5 years that we were friends, I noticed that this was a pattern that was going on for a lot of people that were in her life, but for some reason I didn't get her. Everybody was like, watch out for her, be careful, be careful. And I was like, oh no, she's harmless, she can't do nothing. No, it's fine, it's fine. During our break, I had a hard time with it, mainly because, like I said, I've never had a friend tell me they needed a break from me because, one, we always figured it out, and two, situations never repeated. Months later, this was like the peak of my pregnancy. I was, I want to say maybe 7 months pregnant at the time with the third. And I can remember one day my husband was just like, yo, reach out to this girl, talk to her. If y'all not gonna be friends, don't be friends. But I feel like you need to say some things and she needs to say some things. And you guys need to just squash it. I did not know beforehand that there was a prior discussion between him and her. So I was like, you know what, whatever, fine. So I reached out to her, hey, you know, we should talk. Whatever, like I was open to it, but then at the same time, I was gonna go in with what my thoughts and feelings were. I had a notepad of everything that I wanted to talk about because I know when it comes to her and that friendship and being able to speak my mind, I got scared a lot because I was like, if this is the last memory that we have together, I want to make sure that I say what I need to say and I stand 10 toes down in them. When I tell you I brought that notebook, yeah, ask me if I read it. I didn't. I clammed up very quickly. And the pregnancy hormones kicked in at that point, and I was just like, just go by whatever you can think of at this moment. Not even truly speaking my truth, but really just like talking to talk. And when I heard what she had to say, I was just like, why you ain't open that notebook? I was so mad at myself. She had brought up therapy and me needing therapy and help. And I was like, you know what? This is somebody who used to care about me. Let me take their opinion. And brought up in like a positive way. It was just like, oh, I encourage you to get therapy or go seek therapy because you could use it. And a lot of people actually could use it. Like, so well, there was a lot of backhanded there was just so much wrong in that friendship, y'all. And I just could not, like I allowed a lot of things to happen. I allowed so much to happen to the point where I muted myself because conflict at all. I don't do well with expressing my emotions in places where I don't feel safe or value at all. And by like year 2, that's where I was at, and I stayed there. Instead of me just being like, hey, this person's not right for me, I don't like it, I just continue to sit there and take these punches. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that, because there are people out there waiting for you to finally be free and open up to be who you are and accept you with open arms and not judge you. At the time, my parents were going through a really hard relationship. And there was, I feel like everybody around me was having like was in a really bad place with their significant other. And me and my husband were holding on by a thread because we were like, we cannot continue to let other people's, relationship dynamic affect us. And that's something that we have never done before, but in close contact with a lot of people who they share about their relationship, or you're with them time and time again, things happen. And I don't want what my parents is going through to affect me. I don't want what this friendship thing is going through to affect me. I need help. I need help. So I took up therapy. I went on therapyforblackgirls.com and I searched, I want to say for maybe 6 weeks, looking for a therapist, me and my personality and how I felt like I needed to be helped at the time. Because again, this friend was telling me I needed help. So I'm like, okay, let me find the key things that I need to work on and I'm gonna work on it. Like, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. So I found my therapist, Dr. Liz. She was amazing. I loved her. She has helped me so much. And as we're talking about this friendship, we're talking about my relationship with my dad, both of my dads, my biological dad and my stepdad. She was just noticing a common thing with you. You do have a fear of people leaving you. I knew this already. When I tell y'all I am very self-aware, I am very self-aware. Like, I know when something in my heart is not right. I know when somebody's being mistreated. I know, like, I know. My body tells me when something isn't okay. That was just one of those things where it's like I grew up having a fear of abandonment. It was something that I've struggled with in my marriage. It is something that I have struggled with. So as I'm talking to you about this and hearing your side and, like, reading all the stuff that you sent me, I don't think there's anything wrong with how you went about the friendship. And my mind was blown. I was like, wait, so, like, I know I need therapy for, like, the healing part of my, abandonment issues, but in this friendship, there was nothing wrong with what I did. She was like, no, I think you just, you guys were not meant to be friends. And just like you said, you didn't realize it at first until years later. It just seems like you just had a change of heart. And what you were feeling inside your body is no longer what is serving you in the friendship. I know that. So I was like, this whole time, I'm sitting here being a punching bag for an extra 3 years, and I didn't have to be. I just spoke up and said, hey, I don't like how you're treating me. So stop, or stop being friends with that person. Like, should not have been that complicated, but it was complicated because I'd rather hold you close and change myself than change you or make you change to be friends with me. I've never put anybody in that type of predicament, and if anybody tell you that, it's a lie. Don't listen to them, because I ain't never did that before in my life. I am a possessive friend. I will say that. I do feel certain ways when my friends start to change how they treat me when other people come around. I get possessive because I'm like, hold up, you wasn't doing that before. Now you're doing this because she here. Now remember your place. Remember, loyalty over everything. It's loyalty over everything over here. Keep it 100. So that's where my possessive side came in. And I will say I've gotten way better after that. I was going through therapy. I'm realizing a lot about myself, that I do allow people to say however and perceive me however in front of me, because one, I am not able to stand up for myself. I've always had a hard time standing up for myself and speaking up when in the moment. Instead of just speaking up and saying, hey, that was wrong, don't do that. I was in therapy for a good year dealing with the friendship breakup and my dad, and like how our relationship was, and started to click for me October of this past year. Talking to her about all my goals, my dreams, my plans for my business, and she was like, what are you gonna do with it? And I was just like, I don't know. I was scared. I didn't know what I wanted to do, because when I started business, I was told from so many different people who were my friends, oh, you don't need the certification, you don't need to do this, you're better at this, you need to know what this is. And like, it was just a lot of people throwing their opinions at me and not me knowing what I truly wanted to do. And that fall, I relied on my friends, thoughts and comments about how I should run my business and not how I should run my business. Therapist asked me that. I was like, I don't know. Nobody's influencing me anymore. It's like, and now I got to think for myself. It was beginning of July, I want to say. And I was just sitting down one day. I was like, what's really stopping you from getting your certification right now? Think about it. As I'm thinking about it, I have a whole 6-month-old infant. Very scared. I wanted to share everything. I wanted to share the whole journey, because one, it was something that I was very proud of, because I was told for so long, I don't need this, you don't have to have it, when that honestly was all a lie. And when I tell y'all, I was studying for that exam like my life depended on it. It's amazing to me that all along I could have did it. I just allowed other people to get in my head, not stand confidently in my own ability to be able to succeed. Because mind you, I did not go to college, I flunked out. I would talk about these things with my friend. I'm like, hey, I got a bad rap record, I got a bad track record when it comes to work in school. And because I was speaking all that stuff over me, it gave her the freedom to say however she felt about me, about my situations, and like, oh well, you can't do this, you struggle with that. So I let those things play over and over and over again in my mind, to the point where it's like I didn't even want to do it for myself. But as I was studying and I was passing my practice exams, I was practicing the pop quizzes, I was passing all the section reviews, and I was realizing to myself, like, all along I could have done this. I don't know why I was waiting so long to do this. The day that I finally took my test and passed on the first try was the day that I realized that God had finally broken this, victim mentality off of me. In a way, I played victim because I didn't want to I didn't want the people in my life to leave me or think of me as a fraud, or I'm not gonna lie, there are moments and there are points when I get like a flashback or something will trigger my memory about the friendship, and I just find myself getting really dark and down and low. And that's how I know that out of that friendship that there was nothing really good about it. I was afraid to speak up, and that's something that you can't really be afraid to do when it comes to your feelings and how you feel. Regardless if the other person understands it or not, your feelings are valid. They need to be validated. And I don't think I ever had my feelings validated. I've always corrected my feelings to fit them. With my dad, I would always speak my mind. I would always say, hey, I didn't like that you did that, it hurt my feelings. The thing that made it different was I know my dad like the back of my hand. He was a tough love type of person, and I think that's really what drew me to that friendship, was because she was a straight up no BS type of friend. And I always wanted people like that on my corner because I know they would stick up for me when something went wrong. When I was pregnant with my daughter and there was something going wrong, she stepped in and stuck up for me, and I needed to be able to do that on my own, and I did not. All of that, and here I am today. I call it my healing journey because it's something that I've been struggling and going through the last, I want to say 13 years of my life. I realized how bad it was until I was in that friendship, and it just felt like a never-ending cycle and spiral of unfortunate events that kept happening, and a lot of disrespect that I allowed and I never spoke up about. I will say, as somebody who is now like on the other side of their healing journey or being healed, there are things that I wish I could take back, but a lot of things that I've gone through were lessons of change, a lot of transitions, and I can honestly say that I feel that I am the happiest where I'm at right now. I feel accepted, I feel loved, I feel supported by so many people that I didn't even think really cared about me. It all to me just staying true to who I am and not trying to duplicate anybody else but me. I'm just trying to be better for me. My points that I want to make, as you are going through your own journey, your own healing, acknowledge where you went wrong and what you could have done for you, for yourself, what you could have corrected. Like, acknowledge and separate facts from feelings. What are the facts about what you're going through and how is it making you feel? If what you're going through is making you feel a negative way, say something, address it. Don't just sit and be quiet. And I'm mainly saying this to myself, for myself to remember. I have an issue when people don't admit that they're equally wrong as well. I don't feel like it's fair that people put blame on someone else more than those people who can find fault in every single thing that somebody does but themselves. Those are the people that you need to be aware of, and red flags all across the board. And that's you find healing, forgiving yourself. I know it's hard to forgive other people, so I will start by saying forgive yourself for not taking the proper steps or saying the right things that you wanted to say. If you know for a fact you can't do something by yourself, get help, whether that's seeking therapy, talking to relate with you, or be able for you to confine in. I feel like once you're able to open up and share things that you weren't able to share before in a safe environment, of course, that you need to do that. Do that for you. Make a plan to do better. Make a plan to do better. I feel like that is just self-explanatory. Something that you were doing in a past situation that did not help you, don't do it in the present. To hinder you, don't do it. That really hindered me was getting that weird pit in my stomach. Instead of speaking up when I feel that, I just kind of just sit there and shrivel up and like not get. Don't do that though, because you're causing more harm internally than you think. Lastly, take action. Take action. Some things that I did that helped me take action was coming up with a self-affirmation. Love language is words of affirmation. So I need to read, see positive things. And if you follow me on Instagram or on Twitter or anything like that, I share a lot of motivating, inspiring quotes because these quotes actually help me. And though that is something that I have always loved doing and sharing, because I feel like if it can help me, I know for a fact it'll help somebody else. And there's a self-affirmation. Therapist actually challenged me to write it, and I wrote basically anything negative that was spoken over me. I turned it around and made it a positive. Somebody said I was weak one time, and I was just like, obviously it hurt me, but it's whatever now, because I know I'm not weak. I'm strong as hell. Y'all see I be lifting. Somebody said that I am not able to, I said I am resilient. I am confident within myself, and just different things to kind of help myself kind of grow and love myself, and not based off of what other people say about me. And do something that helps you pour into yourself that you can truly grow into. I have been doing my fitness journey for the last 7 years. And in the midst of that, I was told that I need to change my schedule to fit this. I need to work out at a different time. I need to do this. And it was, no, I need to do what is right for me. I don't care what y'all say. I'm doing this for me. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Stay with it consistently. I will say during my pregnancy, I did stop working out because I was letting a lot of those negative thoughts that was spoken over me to affect me. Another thing that I did was self-care. My therapist challenged me to do a lot of self-care, and that was hard because I didn't know what self-care really entailed. I don't know. I started doing more with my skincare. I started caring more about my hair, taking, extra 5 or 10 minutes or whatever to do my skincare routine, looking at myself in the mirror as I'm washing my face and saying, I am strong, I am resilient, I am fully capable of it, in the mirror as I'm washing my face, tears running down and everything. So truly believing all these things that I'm saying to myself was my form of self-care, and really just pouring into me and what I felt made me feel like I loved me. Self-care played a very, very big part in a lot of what I was doing while I was in my healing journey, and being unapologetically myself. There's one thing I cannot apologize for, and that is for being me. I'm wholeheartedly a people person. I love people, but I'm no longer allowing people to push me around anymore. I'm choosing to speak up when I need to, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna disrespect me. And that's one thing I'm not gonna have, period. That was a lot. I'm sorry, y'all, that was a lot. Good News Podcast, which, okay, in the interview, I did not say everything I wanted to say because a part of me was still kind of protecting that friendship. And I feel like I needed to keep it real here on my channel right now. I needed to keep it real because one thing I'm not gonna do is lie and be a fake. Any experience that I have been through, everything that I've been through has shown me a lot about other people, but also has shown me a lot about myself. I'm timid when it comes to confrontation, and I'm still working really hard on it. As I was going through that interview process with the Good News Podcast, a conversation that I had with this past friend that popped up, and as we were talking, she in a way was like, if anybody asks, don't tell them why we're not friends anymore, say we grew apart. And for the life of me, I was like, this doesn't feel right, but I'm gonna go along with it for now. So fast forward a couple weeks, I have the interview and I remember that conversation. I'm like, oh, let me not say too much. So again, there's me going into this shell and covering up the truth because I'm trying to protect this person that I'm no longer friends with. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. Whether you have friends who are not supportive or you are in a friendship that is borderline toxic and emotionally and verbally abusive, my number one thing for you is to, one, take a deep breath, okay? A lot of emotions are going to start coming up for you. You're going to feel alone. You're gonna feel like nobody wants you. You're going to feel like, you're not deserving of any good friendship. But I want to tell you that your people are out there. Tweeted a couple days ago or whatever, I think it was a couple weeks ago, that I am so mad that the people that I'm friends with now were not friends with me 5 years ago, because these people have literally carried my weak emotional behind on their backs and have made me feel the most myself that I have ever felt in my life. Honestly, owe it to them, because during a time where I did not feel like anybody wanted to be my friend, I did not feel deserving of any friendship because of what I've been through. Let me take a breath. When I say I care about people, I really do. I really do. And I've never wanted anything from anybody but friendship, but genuine friendship and connection. And when that was taken from me, when that was used to their advantage, and they took my kindness for weakness, I really thought that I was never gonna have anybody ever again. It took me going through that to realize that that's not true. There are people who love me for me, my corny, bubbly, goofy self. As weird as I can get, as emotional as I can get, as extra as I can get. They have never once called me out on it. They have never once made me feel stupid for being extra, and they have never once, you know, told me I need to tone down who I am. That and my friends today are still mixed, still diverse, and it just goes to show that there are people out there who are rooting for you, genuinely rooting for you, and there are people out there who will try their very hardest to take away that life from you. Don't let them do that. That is it. I didn't mean for this to get emotional. I'm glad it didn't come streaming down, because to conclude, say there were a lot of different resources that my therapist gave me that really helped me to go through this whole entire process, I guess sane, as you would say. Become one with myself and be okay being different and standing out. Also watched a lot of videos, which there's not a lot out there on, you know, what healthy, good friendship looks like, build connections with people. One that I do remember at the time that I watched was Girlfriend's Chat with Akita, Man, and Janae. Helped me a lot because it helped me realize that there are other people out there who go through friendship breakups like this and they have a hard time with it. And I'm one of those people who, even now, today, like I'm just now getting out of a really bad funk I've had this week, where I saw this friend, this old friend, and I just got really triggered, and I just know that there is still some healing that I need to do, because again, it was a friendship that I invested a lot of time in. It was a relationship that I held to a very, very high standard because I thought it was mutual, but it wasn't. Something we all have to realize. Not everybody, you know, sees friendship the same way, and we need to be okay allowing the people who don't want to be held to a certain level to, you know, to go. I'm still healing. I don't want to say I'm completely healed. It is going to take time still, but I am still putting in the work to make sure that I don't revert back to my old ways of, you know, self-sabotaging and hiding in a shell and, you know, silencing myself because somebody else wants me to be silent. Like now I'm speaking out more than I need to. Gracious with me because, like I said, I didn't say a lot in the interview because, again, I was trying to protect this friendship, this person, but at the end of the day, I can only protect myself. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna choose to do. Hope this helps somebody. If you know somebody who is going through this, definitely share this video with them. You can learn a thing or two about, you know, what to tolerate and what not to tolerate in your life. How you treat people is how you allow people to treat you, and life is really short. So if you're gonna fill it treating people horribly, you need to do some self-evaluation. But if you're going to live this life and truly say you're caring about people, truly care about people, but also don't forget to care about yourself first. That's where a lot of us miss the mark. I dropped the ball. I'm quick to admit, like, oh, my bad, that was my fault. I completely dropped the ball on that, or I forgot. And genuinely saying I forgot and not, you know, feeling bad for forgetting, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being. I forget things. We forget things. Sometimes it slips our mind. What I want to kind of tell my past self is it's okay. I'm not mad at you for not putting me first. Something that I feel like we need to practice saying as people is, like, you know, looking in the mirror and being like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't put you first in this situation. I'm sorry I allowed something like this to affect you. And like self-healing can begin when you finally, like, you know, just say it out loud, like, hey, I messed up. I messed up for me, and I'm sorry for that. That is it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's all I got. This is me nervously eating. Okay.